Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another JVS movie review brought to you by the Middleburg Film Festival. The film we are reviewing today, Passing, starring Tessa Thompson, Ruth, Nega, and André, Holland. Now, here's a quick synopsis of it. Mixed-race childhood friends reunite in a middle class adults and become increasingly involved with one another's lives and insecurities. While Irene identifies as African American and is married to a black doctor, Claire passes as a white woman and is married to a prejudiced, wealthy white man. Now, let's start off by saying I went into the Passing expecting imitation of life. I don't know why I expected it. From the trailers of it, I thought I was going to get imitation of life here. And I was like, okay, this could be a very interesting thing and just be a updated version of the play on race and the colorism of the world and things of that nature. Instead, what I got out the Passing had way more to do with just human sensibilities than race. That's what I got out of this film. Because while we are introduced first to Tessa Thompson's character, who she is playing Irene here, who is just going through a white neighborhood. And she's using the point that she's a very fair-skinned black woman to pass as white, to shop, to get in from the heat, all of things of that nature, where then she meets an old friend, Claire, played by Ruth Nega, who is, for all intents and purposes, a white woman at this point. She does not acknowledge that she's black. So when you get introduced to them, when you get introduced to Claire's husband, played by Alexander Skarsgård here, who is blatantly racist and hates all black people and makes some of the most hurtful comments humanly possible at the beginning of this film, you kind of wonder, well, what am I getting myself into here? And then as the film evolves, we find out that the Passing has way more to do with people's insecurities about life, about themselves, and them passing like everything is okay. Like Tessa Thompson's performance as Irene here is heartbreaking at times because she's clearly not passing as trying to be a white woman. She's passing as trying to be a mother that's okay with everything. And she's trying to keep herself busy and all this other stuff to be passing as the perfect wife. But in reality, it's so many flaws, not only just in her, it's flaws in her marriage, it's flaws in her dealings with her children, and it's flaws with her dealing with now with her reunited friend. And all of that made for a much more powerful film. Now, while it still deals with race and it still deals brilliantly with race, as we are still introduced in this time period to, at times, white people who liked to be around black people. White people wanted to feel like they needed to befriend black people just because it made them feel better about themselves. And all of that's true. But this is a film where you got to dig a little deeper than that. The surface level stuff is just focusing on the race. But when you really get to dig into Irene and Claire's relationship, even Irene's relationship with her husband, played by André Holland, like, you see the deep-rooted issues of Tessa Thompson's character attempting to hide racism from her children at a time where you would assume it would be safest to inform these black kids about the way the world views them, and she tries her best to hide that from them in very horrible, tragic circumstances. It makes no sense to do so, but that's part of her passing like everything's okay in life. And that's what makes this movie extremely interesting. Now, if you're looking for a movie that digs deep into the elements of race, this is not for you. That's not what you're going to get here at all. It really deals with race on a very surface level. Like almost close to like a Hallmark movie level of race dealing with. But when you deal with human emotion and circumstances and things of that nature, it digs way deeper than I could have ever imagined here. Now, again, the film starts off with Irene and Claire as they meet up again as they are childhood friends, and just Irene judging Claire, because she's passing for white, while Claire's like, I'm doing anything to have the life that I needed to live, that I can get everything I want. And again, that is really deep for some people, but it's going to be surface for a lot of people. But then when you just dig in deeper into the characters, you get a way more interesting film here that I feel is a little different than what I would expect from a Netflix film. And it could be because of Rebecca Hall, who is a white woman who wrote and directed this film. So that could explain why possibly you don't dig as deep into the race element as people would like to have it, because unfortunately people are going to look at it and think this is a film directed by a white woman. How far is she willing to go to dig into the race elements? On the other hand, I saw this as her feeling, that's the surface stuff. That's the stuff that gets you in the door. I'm going to hit you with deeper meaning of what it means to be passing than just passing by your race. While that is something people did in this time period, people have been passing by other elements of their lives for much longer. And that is what we get here, along with a really good performance by Tessa Thompson. She's been on an amazing run of performances from Sydney's Love last year with Namni Asawa, which I thought was one of the best romantic films that I had seen in a couple of years. Like, this is something she does here. Ruth Negga gives an Oscar caliber performance as Claire. She is amazing, a complete powerhouse in this film. Unfortunately, while this film doesn't reach the caliber that I feel of awards contention that they were hoping for, Ruth Negga is going to get and should get a Best Supporting Actress nomination for this movie. She is absolutely amazing in this movie, and something that just captivates you. Not just with her beauty, but just with her subtleness in her performance here, that kind of exposes a lot of the issues with Irene that makes this movie so great. So, The Passing, brought to you by the Middleburg Film Festival. Out of a possible 10, I'm going to give The Passing a 7.5 out of 10. This is a very solid movie. It deals with so many different elements beyond race that I think anyone who sees it is going to leave with a profound meaning of what it means to pass in life, and not just pass based off of the color of your skin. This has been another JVS movie review. Peace, people.